What's going on, all you cinematic movie fans out there? Your two favorite critics are back tonight. I'm joined by Uncle Logan. I am Uncle Henry, and we are back with a movie that hit cinemas in March, so a few weeks ago, and both of us got a chance to finally check this out. Logan actually checked this out in cinemas. I was able to catch it at home on digital, and we're here, and we are going to share our thoughts on this brand new film from Maggie Gyllenhaal. What's it called, Uncle Logan?
The Bride.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
No, just the bride.
That's right. This movie actually came out on my birthday, March 6th. I remember seeing this with another movie, Hoppers, back to back at the cinema back in March. This two completely opposite movies, but of course, I was very interested to see the take on, The Bride. Of course, the original film from 1935, Boris Karloff, Elsa Lanchester, who played the bride, and Mary Shelley in the original. Frankenstein Needs a Bride. Pretty basic setup in that film. Classic black and white Universal monster movie. But this, fast forward all these years later, 2026, Maggie Gyllenhaal's take on this material goes about it in a completely different approach, taking place in 1930 Chicago, which we love. The backdrop of this is really setting up this character of Ida. She was like kind of a tough gal in Chicago. Something happens to her, and it really sets up the rest of the film.
Affiliated with the mob. She's at this club in the beginning. You kind of get a sense of her personality. She's like a free spirit, back in the era where women had to be silent, they didn't have the rights that they did back then. They weren't allowed to speak out in public. And this is very much a feminist movie from Maggie Gyllenhaal's perspective here and breathes new life into this character. I heard her in an interview talking about this movie, and she was talking about how, everybody knows like the bride, from Bride of Frankenstein, just by the look, the iconic look, but she barely said anything in that film. So she wanted to make her own version of this film and like, have something to say. And she incorporates all these, thoughts and ideas into this character of Ida. And Ida eventually becomes the bride. Frank there, played by Christian Bale. He's been dead for hundreds of years, I believe. He's like
Yep.
almost 200 years old, if I remember correctly. And he's lonely, and he has this idea that he wants a bride, he wants a companion, and that's when Annette Bening's character comes into play.
Yep, they find the ultimate dead body, which of course is Ida. She got beat up pretty bad, had a really bad accident at this nightclub in Chicago, like you're saying with the mafia. That they end up digging her up, and the ultimate bride for him, Frankenstein, which was, really, I would say unique. Christian Bale's take on this character is a lot different than Jacob Elordi's one, Del Toro flick. I really love what he did with this, but he's very vulnerable. He's lonely, he's sad. He wants a wife, a companion, and that's when Ida's kind of brought back. Awesome look on Jessie Buckley as well, and I love the whole look of this film. The whole aesthetic is really incredible. The color schemes and the makeup, costume design, everything looked fantastic. What really sells this movie is Jessie Buckley. She's a powerhouse in this movie. It goes some really crazy places between this character and Mary Shelley, which is like the ghost that like took over the body, and that's how it's set up. But yeah, she's just incredible in this movie.
Yeah, I love that. Showing Mary Shelley and them like communicating kind of like telepathically, like Ida and the bride hearing Mary Shelley like in her own head and it guiding her and what she does now that she has this new lease on life and has been, reborn basically. But some interesting acting choices here for sure from Buckley and from Christian Bale. Christian Bale's Frankenstein's like intelligent actually. Obviously he doesn't have his full sensibilities, but he's smart enough to, sense danger and, know that he wants to have a companion there. And then Ida comes along and kind of like throws him for a loop. He's like blown away by how perfect this creature is. And Jessie Buckley really sells it as the bride here, just completely like free. Like you get this performance and she just feels like an actress, like just being able to do whatever she wants with this character through this character. And, with her being, reinvigorated and brought back to life, she doesn't have the same like high brain power. So it's interesting to hear like Jessie Buckley and those scenes with her trying to think of the words and like the words come like lightning to her. Like she's saying all these words together. Like, I can't tell you the exact words that she says, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like she's trying to think it out and she's like saying the words that are coming to her mind and they like make sense. And like Frank understands that and thinks she's like perfect. It's just this beautiful creation for Frank, and they both play well with each other. Frank's there to, be kind of like a protector, but she really doesn't need protecting until, she's ganged up on, and then Frank is there to come to the rescue. And, the story really goes from them, being united and then going out to this club and then having these bad things happen, and you can imagine people get killed and they have to go on the run. And it's on this backdrop, like you said, of like the 30s and Chicago and old Hollywood. And the look of this film, really was amazing. And I really appreciated the whole aesthetic of this film and what Maggie Gyllenhaal was able to do with not only the look of the film, but the characters too. The choice of the look of the bride was really iconic too. Everybody remembers the Bride of Frankenstein, like the big hair, the streak through it. She does something similar here, like with the hair, but also, the choice with like the ink spots and really interesting character choices here. Like you can tell this was a really large collaborative effort here by everybody involved. And yeah, I really dug this. I was surprised, to hear all the reviews like, hate it. I definitely didn't see that at all. It's very unique. It's not exactly what I was expecting, but it took some big swings. And for me, it mostly worked. I had a really good time with this film. I can see why it wasn't like a huge success. It's not like a great film, but it does have really terrific performances, the look and everything. I think if this was released around Halloween time, it would have done better, just to go with October spooky season, that would have helped out a lot. But yeah, this definitely didn't deserve to be in and out of the theater in like what, 2 weeks maybe. This just, I don't know, just maybe the marketing didn't work so well for this, the way they did that. But yeah, this one's definitely worth checking out. It's unique and fun, and it's not overly long or anything. The performances are great. The look's great. Had a really good time with this. Also, let's mention Peter Sarsgaard, Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband, of course, as the detective there. I liked him. The only performance that I wasn't so hot on was Penelope Cruz's like character. I didn't really buy her as the like other detective there. Didn't sell it for me. I don't know. That was the only really nitpick I had. Otherwise, yeah, I really enjoyed this film. This was a cool film, and one that you'll definitely want to check out when it hits digital. Watch it at home for sure. Give it a chance, especially for Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley. They really knock it out, especially Jessie Buckley. I could see her picking up a nomination for this film, although, the film didn't do well, so I don't know if she will, which is a bummer. But she definitely deserves kudos for this film. She's on my radar, definitely, after her past couple performances. She's really on the, up and up. She's up and coming and one to watch for sure.
Every performance she's in, she gets better and better. Hamnet, she was incredible, but this is like complete opposite. This is probably my favorite performance of her so far. I thought she went to some really crazy places in this film, playing these different characters. I love the whole design, her frizzy blonde hair, and like you said, the
Mhm.
black ink. I thought it looked really cool. It was like a Bonnie and Clyde punk rock rockabilly couple you'd see in Vegas. Sort of reminded me of, and I thought just the whole look of them was unique and interesting. And they took some swings in this movie, and it really worked for me. I don't have any major complaints about this movie. Seeing this in the theater was incredible. Didn't know what to expect, and
Mhm.
it was out there. It has a lot to say, a lot of feminism and woman empowerment. That's awesome. And I thought Maggie Gyllenhaal did a great job directing and writing this. It's a family affair. Her husband's in, her brother's in, I think their daughter's
Mhm.
in it. The entire family, I had fun in these different roles. Gyllenhaal playing Ronnie Reed, He's kind of the 1930s singer and dancer, actor, and he was having fun in that role. And the music, it reminded me of like Boardwalk Empire. Um,
Yeah.
and this movie reminded me like, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein, like
Hmm.
the newer Joker movie. A lot of
Yep.
influence, but it's also unique at the same time. Really had a blast with this at the movie theater. Highly recommend checking this out. People are sleeping on this. It was just a really visually incredible movie. A lot to say. Modern take on or a classic movie, I mean, from 1935. And definitely check it out. So with that being said, I'm gonna give The Bride. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Jessie Buckley hair pieces.
Everything you said there, surprised by this one. I was happy that I got to check this out at home. Wish I would have saw it in the theater. Would have made it that much better, especially the big dance and musical number in the film, putting on the Ritz. That was a really cool scene. Unique movie and one that I've, been thinking about since I watched it. There was a lot in this film and, a lot of messages and a lot of subtext there to dig through. And it keeps you thinking about it after the film. So that being said, I'm going to give The Bride. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 Peter Sarsgaard hair pieces.
Want to hear from all you wild horror fans out there. What did you like about The Bride? What didn't you like about it? Have you seen the original film from 1935? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to snap, subscribe.
So thank you guys for watching our review of The Bride from Maggie Gyllenhaal. We want to hear from you guys after you watch it, so make sure to comment on this here post. Let us know. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next Cinefellas movie review, I am Uncle Henry Bale.
Hi, I'm Christian.
Oh, Christian.